How much time until the end? Watching the Nickelback song, Save Me, I like to turn the volume all the way to mute and think about how I would change if I knew. I'm 27 years old, and depending on who I read, I'm going to live at least another 60 years. So I'm only at the beginning of my life, given that the majority of this was spent in education. That gives me over 90% to accomplish things. If my post-uni life was broken into $100 coins, I'd have only spent $6. And in my pocket, there's another 94 cash money. You know what else is in my pocket? My phone. If the iPad 2 came out in '88, the year I was born, it would be the most powerful supercomputer in the world. The app on my phone, Instagram, is more capable of doing special effects than the $2 million editing software available the year Back to the Future 3 came out. My car's GPS has more processing power than the guidance unit that landed us on the moon. Humanity has changed a lot in a very short amount of time. Before the Anthropocene epoch, that is the point in time when you can visibly see humans' geological impact with concrete, plastic, radioactive isotopes throughout Earth, we are arguably at the end of the timeline of humanity. Don't believe me? Imagine shooting this cat was in a box, and your friend threw out the dead cat and replaced it with a stopwatch. Now you don't know the highest number that stopwatch can go to, but once it reaches its max, you know humanity is dead. If you check the stopwatch and it said 2, you'd know the stopwatch has just started ticking. There's been over 5 billion species that have ever existed on Earth. 99% of them are gone. We're going through a mass extinction right now. So out of all the species that have ever existed on Earth, we're one of the finals. In that sense, we've made it to the finish line. There's been 100 billion people on Earth. If you check the stopwatch in the box and it said 100 billion, has the stopwatch just started? Or is it just finishing? Now, I don't mean to be doom and gloom, because there's an obvious out for this problem. Earth is just a tiny speck in our galaxy. Right now, today, we're exploring outside our planet. Once our first human lands on Mars, that stopwatch will say 1. Humanity's narrow slice is interesting, but back to my narrow slice. 60 more years. 21,900 days, broken into 1-hour intervals. We used to measure the day by the rotation of Earth on its axis. Now, we measure time by the vibration of an atom between 2 energy states. But why measure time like this? When I think about my day, particularly when it gets busy, I don't feel like my day flies by because of some ticking atom clock. My days speed up when I have more things, meetings, moments. Each year I'm alive, I feel as if time moves faster. One plausible explanation for this is as we age, we have less new moments. Thinking about that, I somewhat agree. It must be a factor. At 5, a lot of the moments I had were new. School, friends, play, people, all new. It's easier now going through life with very few firsts. First kiss, book, phone, first time seeing my mum. But when is the last? I try to visit my mum at least once each fortnight. If that trend continues and she lives at least another 40 years, that leaves us only 16% of the time I'm going to spend with my mum left. 16 coins of a possible 100 left. When I was younger, I spent almost every single day with her. And I guess this is the point. I'm coming to the tail end. Depending on how I look at it. How much time until? No. How many moments do we have left? Thank you. Hey, you know when you go to the movies and you stay to the end, even past the credits, hoping for that end credit scene, and you get there and there's nothing? That's what happened to me the other day when I was watching Batman vs. Superman. Great movie, you should probably check it out, but I was a little bit disappointed, and I'm hoping you don't get that now. Now this video was very much inspired by the guys at Wait But Why to Movement. If there's ever someone you thought about sponsoring on Patreon, definitely worth checking him out. Everything he writes is incredible. He's just come out with a TED Talk, and that is good. Also, it's probably worth checking out this girl called Chaotic Cookie. She gave me some great advice on quality versus quantity, and this is my attempt to rectify that. If you're a big fan of husky dogs, it's probably worth clicking on the link in the description, and yeah, just go. So on that note, I wanted to use these post-credit scenes to give myself some advice for your next video. Write myself a list. Batman cartoons. I don't know if you could maintain that, but that's pretty cool. Subtle references to other YouTubers. Thumbs up. Some of them were really good. I think the way you pulled off the shooting this cat reference without being cliche was really good. Wasn't a fan of the fact listing thing. It just seemed like you found a blog post and just copied and pasted a bunch of facts into a script. Oh my gosh, high five. Epic climax towards the end there. That was a good job. I think some of your editing was a little bit sloppy. And finally, 80-20 rule. What will help you improve the most? I'd say start talking to the camera like this and use the visual elements to drive home the point and tell your story a little bit better. But that's all for me. See you next time. Damn.